Hi, welcome to Medic Warrior. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share with those that might benefit. Today, let's proceed to the second part of our introduction to medical imaging. In today's world, we witness the application of X rays in various fields, for example, medical imaging, X ray microscopy, X ray spectroscopy, X ray crystallography, industrial radiography, among others. But do you ever get curious about where X-rays actually came from? If so, well, let's dive in and see. Towards the end of the 18th century and all through the 19th century, a lot of scientists were carrying out experiments in physics involving electricity, magnetism, and radiations. The earliest probable account of X-rays traces back to the year 1785 with the scientist William Morgan. At this time, scientists were experimenting on cathode rays, which were simply beams of electrons. Different scientists came up with different designs of cathode ray tubes, and several of them described a certain kind of radiations which they were not sure of. But until now, we cannot really be sure if what the scientists were describing were actually X-rays. Towards the end of the 19th century, in the year 1895, a scientist called Wilhelm Conrad Röntgen was further experimenting with the cathode ray beams. During one of his experiments, he had wrapped his cathode ray tube in a black cardboard paper to prevent passage of light. At the same time, he had placed a fluorescent screen 1 meter away from the tube. This screen was coated with barium platinocyanide. To his surprise, there was fluorescence on the screen. Puzzled by this radiation that could go through black cardboard paper, he decided to place a stack of books between the tube and the screen, but even then still, the screen was fluorescing. As he continued to experiment, he noticed that when he placed his hand between the tube and the screen, the rays actually made out the shape of the bones of his hand. He then went on to take and produce an image of his wife's hand. This image clearly demarcated the shape of the bones of his wife's hand, including the wedding ring on her finger. On seeing this image, his wife exclaimed, "Oh my God, I have seen my death." Röntgen then went on to describe and write about these rays in a paper that he submitted to the Royal Society of London. He named them the X-rays, or X radiation, to denote the fact that they were some sort of unknown radiation. Others prefer to call them the Röntgen radiation after the scientist who discovered them. Today, we know Röntgen as the father of radiology since he invented the X-rays. From this time, X-rays became famous. Scientists were experimenting on them. Doctors were using them to produce images of the internal organs of the body. Little did they know about the adverse effects of X-rays, and they went on exposing themselves to X-rays without caution. Well, there were a few reports of burns and hair loss from X-rays. Unfortunately, physicians at the time rubbished off these claims, saying that X-rays were safe with no harmful effects on the human body. There was this scientist that had a habit of taking X-ray images of his hand over and over again. He was called Clarence Madison Daly. In the year 1903, he was diagnosed with a condition known as X-ray dermatitis. Little did they know that was actually cancer. Daly had one of his arms amputated, but the condition developed in the other hand later on, which was also amputated, and he died later on. Another scientist, Hall Edward, developed a similar condition and had his left arm amputated in the year 1904. He later on died of cancer in the year 1926. Today, we know for truth that X-rays and other ionizing radiations can have devastating effects on the human body. Those could range from deterministic effects like burns to the stochastic effects such as cancer and congenital anomalies and so on. So today we emphasize so much the principle of radioprotection. There have been newer designs of X-ray tubes to optimize the application of X-rays as well as ensuring safety of the individuals exposed. Today we follow so much the ALARA principle, which is keeping exposure as low as reasonably achievable. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please support the channel by liking, commenting, subscribing, turning on the notifications and sharing with those that might benefit. Catch you in the next video.